Dana White plans UFC 279 to boost the pay-per-view buys. What a genius move by the UFC if this is true. If it's not true, then oh my gosh, the coincidence of Hamzat Chimaev missing weight just under the 180-pound limit, where Kevin Holland weighed in under the 180-pound limit to fight Daniel Rodriguez on the same card with Tony Ferguson and Nate Diaz. I mean, if this was not planned by Dana White, if this was not planned by the UFC, it is still absolutely insane, in my opinion, that this all actually happened in the UFC's welterweight and catchweight division of 180 and 170 pounds. But I'm going to be legit honest with you. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be believing any of that. I do not believe this was just some crazy coincidence that Tony Ferguson was placed on the card with a killer like Li Jingliang just randomly in the welterweight division, unless they had some plan to have Li Jingliang, Tony Ferguson, get canceled a few days before the fight, or literally the day before the fight, and face Nate Diaz in the main event. I guarantee you the pay-per-view money went up. The viewers went up. The notoriety around this event went up because of what I think were Dana White's antics of actually making this happen in the UFC's welterweight and catchweight division. I mean, I was thinking about it a lot before hopping on and making this videos because, dude, what are the chances Hamzat Chimaev is going to miss weight and go out there and weigh in at 178.5 pounds? What are the chances? What are the chances that happens? Now, one thing, first off, it helps them more or less get the fight with Kevin Holland a little bit easier, as they would be similar in weight there. That's first off, because Kevin had the catchweight bout. I mean, come on. We're not even talking about Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez was originally set up as a 180-pound fight. Even though both guys have been fighting in the welterweight division their past few fights, Daniel Rodriguez has been in the welterweight division his whole UFC career, and just now, out of nowhere, Daniel Rodriguez is just going to be like, no, I'd rather have a 180-pound catchweight fight. I mean, the coincidences are too crazy for me to believe. That's first off, was D-Rod asking for a 180 catchweight fight. Second off, Hamzat weighing in at that 180-pound limit, just a pound and a half below that. And Hamzat gains things from this. The UFC gains things from this. The UFC gains Tony Ferguson, Nate Diaz main event. They gain the notoriety and the popularity and the pay-per-view buys that main event is going to sell. They also gain another easy win from Kevin Holland. Another easy win from Hamzat Chimaev in this catchweight division that'll build his stock even more in terms of how good of an MMA fighter he is, while also making him a villain. Even though maybe Hamzat Chimaev might have not wanted to be a villain, maybe his manager might not have wanted Hamzat Chimaev to be the villain. I'm sure the UFC loves the sound of that. They heard, wow, Hamzat Chimaev missing weight would be really good. We can just put him against Kevin Holland and tell Hamzat Chimaev to be really nonchalant about the whole situation and not really care, and make him a villain of the UFC's welterweight and middleweight division to build even more fights. I mean, every fight from now on with Hamzat Chimaev, if he fights Paulo Costa, people are going to watch that fight because they want to see a Hamzat Chimaev lose. In the welterweight division against Colby, in the middleweight division against Paulo Costa. I'm telling you, this was a genius move by the UFC, if it was actually a move by the UFC, which we still do not 100% know. My prediction, my thoughts are that was the case. I think the UFC planned it so that they put three guys roughly around the same weight class, all of which are notoriety. They have really big names in the welterweight division, like Ferguson, like Nate Diaz. Their prospects like Hamzat Chimaev, Kevin Holland, and then the veterans of D-Rod and Li Jingliang. I know they put all these welterweights on the card for a reason, and I was wondering, how are we having three welterweight fights just back to back to back to back? That's what I was wondering weeks before the fight card got all switched up and stuff like that. And then I see Hamzat Chimaev miss weight. I see Nate Diaz talking about he doesn't want to fight Hamzat Chimaev. I see Tony on the card. I'm like, dude, Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson is such a better fight. in my opinion. Dana's probably hearing that. He's hearing all the fans saying Tony and Diaz are on the same card. Let's make that fight happen. But they have Hamza versus Nate Diaz. And I'm sure Dana is hearing all of that. And he's like, well, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Hamza, miss weight. We'll make you a villain of the middleweight division, a villain of the UFC. Everyone will hate you, but everyone will buy your pay-per-views because they hate you so much. They want to see you lose. Kevin Holland, I mean, he's going to say yes to this because if he loses, oh well, he loses to Hamza Chimaev. If he wins, he's about to get a title shot in the UFC's welterweight division, and his name and his popularity goes crazy. So it's a win for Kevin Holland. For Daniel Rodriguez, it's a win. He gets a little bit of an easier opponent and a shot inside the top 15 against a ranked guy. For Li Jingliang, wasn't necessarily a good thing, but aside from Li Jingliang getting I would say a harder fight in Daniel Rodriguez, plus going out there and having to not get that co-main event spot against a veteran of the game, a legend of the game in Tony Ferguson. Yes, that is a bad thing for Li Jingliang, but what did it do? It actually ended up building the name of Li Jingliang even more. His fans increased after UFC 279. After the robbery that was that decision, his fans went up after that fight. Li Jingliang is more popular after that fight with Daniel Rodriguez. Kevin Holland is more popular now after facing Hamzat on short notice. Hamzat is more popular now as the villain of the UFC. Ferguson Diaz helped with the pay-per-views. And now Diaz is going over to boxing to make some money. And when he comes back to the UFC to fight Conor McGregor, what do you want? Diaz, his last MMA fight to be a dominating loss to Hamza Chimaev? No. You want it to be a good win over Tony Ferguson, a legend of the game. And that is why all of the things I've been talking about in this video is why I legitimately think the UFC wanted this all along. I legitimately think Dana, Sean Shelby, went over, saw Hamzat Chimaev. I mean, I don't think they told Hamzat Chimaev to like deliberately botch the weight cut, but I think Hamzat was having a pretty bad weight cut, and the UFC just went in there with the observation of seeing, well, Hamzat's not really doing too good with the weight cut right now. Well, Hamzat, how would you like to make some good money, to build your name even more, become a villain of the UFC, and get even more notoriety on your name, more like a Conor McGregor? That's just, he's a very good MMA fighter, but he's a villain to a lot of people inside of the UFC, inside of Bellator, inside of MMA. So I think the UFC approached Hamzat Chimaev during his weight cut, said, you know, if you're having a bad weight cut, we could always make this a catchweight fight and try to schedule Kevin Holland. And we can make the main event Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson. Hamza was probably like, dude, this weight cut is not really that good. I would love to fight Kevin Holland. That's a harder fight, but it's still a win, and I don't have to cut all of those extra pounds. So Hamza was probably going to be on board when Dana went in and said all of that. Daniel Rodriguez definitely on board for a ranked opponent and arguably an easier fight in the welterweight division. Jing Liang, I don't know if he was on board, but he definitely gains fans from this fight. And Ferguson and Diaz are on board because they both get easier fights in the main events. Everyone wins except for Li Jingliang. But I think it was planned. What do y'all think? Do you think UFC 279 was planned by Dana White? If it was, that's freaking genius. But what do y'all think? Put your thoughts down below for Dana White's and his mastermind, potentially, of UFC 279. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Every 10 subscribers we get on the channel from now on, I will be doing a mile on the treadmill. 100 subscribers, I'll do 10 miles on the treadmill. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.